Hi, it's Martin Rapley here from Refurbishment Masterclass. In this video, I wanted to talk about commercial properties, particularly in the context of retained commercial properties that may well be on the ground floor of a property that perhaps you've converted to residential upstairs. Now at the moment there's some great permitted development opportunities to convert shops with uppers into residential space upstairs. And I'm not really going to focus on the upstairs in this particular video. I wanted to talk about the retained unit that's downstairs. And I wanted to talk about the retained unit in the context that it is an empty unit. So let's assume that you have taken a property, it hasn't got a tenant in the commercial element. Maybe you've reconfigured the commercial element to some extent to be able to get a staircase up to the upstairs to be able to put your residential up there. Maybe you've made the commercial element that little bit smaller and put residential at the back. That's certainly something I'm seeing a lot of where there's large commercial space. Sometimes it's too big for the area, so chop it in half, use the back half as a small flat and the front half gets left as the commercial unit. I'm talking now about the commercial unit that gets left, and the common question I get is, how do I finish off my commercial unit that's left after I've created the residential space above and behind? Now the thing about the commercial units is you've got no idea who you're going to be renting this particular unit to, or maybe even selling this particular unit to. Clearly every kind of business has a different requirement. Some businesses, maybe a retail type business, will need some kind of racking and probably some shelves and hanging rails and things like that. If you go to an estate agency type business, they have much more open plan. They bring in their own desks and they need display boards, and they need lighting that will target onto these display boards, and they need perhaps power for computers. Much more power than say a retail unit would be. Maybe you're going to rent your property out to a barber shop or a hairdresser, and they need to bring in some hand washing and hair washing basins and things like that. And indeed you might even be going to say a takeaway, fast food takeaway shop or a restaurant or something like that, and they need to be thinking about kitchens and catering and food storage and things like that. So clearly every single use of a commercial building could be different. And the significant thing about all of that is, as a result, you would not normally fit out the commercial building for any particular usage. You need to leave your commercial building unfinished. And unfinished can often mean bare brick walls, nothing on the floor. As long as it's got a concrete slab down, it doesn't need anything more put on the floor. What you might put in there as an absolute minimum is a toilet. Because clearly anyone coming in to take that unit and fit it out to be for their business use, it's useful that there's a toilet there on the first day. But otherwise, that's all you need to put in. Remember, commercial units are let and sold based on square footage. So you want absolutely the largest square footage that you can. So to that extent, I wouldn't even go boxing in pipes unless I really had to. I certainly wouldn't create cupboards under the staircase. I wouldn't square up alcoves or reveals or anything like that, because all of that just reduces the square footage. I would let the incoming tenant work out what they want, and then either they'll bring in their own contractor to carry out that fit out, or you can agree with the incoming tenant what kind of fit out they need, and maybe you can agree the cost of those works with your builder that's refurbishing the remainder of the property. But yeah, it's not uncommon that a completely different contractor comes in and does fit out. By the way, fitting out is a very different field of construction from refurbishment, and typically the contractors that do one don't do the other. So yeah, keep things to a minimum, keep it as a shell, let it out with the largest footprint you possibly can, and don't feel that you need to finish it in any way. Just make sure it's secure, make sure it's watertight, and make sure it's got a toilet. So hope that's been of use to you. Best of luck if you're converting a property with a commercial unit. I think it's a really good opportunity going forwards, particularly as commercial units can be held in pension SAS funds and things like that, which open up all sorts of other opportunities. Please do like and share this video, and I look forward to catching up with you on the next one.